When guys come back, they want to see if you're still stupid and see if you're gonna still fall for it. Going with the flow. People thought we were together, but we weren't. I just knew deep inside that I do not need to be with this man. Hey guys, and welcome back to today's video. Today, I'm helping all the ladies and gentlemen escape from the epidemic that has contaminated today's dating pool. Situationships. Back in the day, your girl was a queen of those. And also, your girl got, unfortunately. No laughing here, it was actually pretty serious. Looking back and coming out of it today, I can say that I fully removed myself from that situation, and I've definitely learned some things that you can learn and the things that you can avoid to even get in this situation. So think of me as your big sister, or a friend in this case, and let's get to the conversation. You might be like, India, how do I know if I'm in a situationship? And most of the times, you will know. Let me read you the official Google definition of a situationship. According to Google, a situationship is a romantic or sexual relationship that is undefined and non-committal, where people are more than just friends, but less committed than romantic partners. They lack clear labels, boundaries, and commitments. They often involve in emotional and physical intimacy and spending time together. Now, if that sounds like you and you're matching about most of those things, I'm sorry to say, you're in a situationship. Let me hand you one of these because you're gonna need it. But it's okay. It's okay because I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna tell you my story, a little bit what I went through, and hope it shed some light on you to give you enough tips and advice of how to avoid these type of situationships dead in their stops when you see them. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit of my story, and hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes. And let me set the scene for you. So it was my sophomore year of college. Actually, the summer going into my sophomore year of college. And I met a guy. I had seen him prior around campus, but I really didn't know a lot about him, but he intrigued me. I'm gonna call him Fox. So me and Fox connected on Snapchat, and we started talking via Snapchat. He slid up on my story a couple of times, and I thought he was cute, you know, because I've seen him around. So we just engaged in conversation, started talking, and then we talked up until we got to campus, and we tried to meet before school, but we ended up not being able to. So fast forward, I'm gonna say fast forward a lot, by the way. We finally get to meet, and this guy is charming. Fox is charming. I was interested. So we start talking and getting to know each other. The vibes are really good. Start hanging out a lot. And then before you know it, suddenly we're not in the friend zone anymore. So as that progresses, I realized that we were talking for months. And so I figure out later on that he's actually talking to someone else at the same time. And when I mean same time, like 1, 2, and I'm very acknowledged of it. So me being very naive, and let me name a preface to this. When I was in high school, I did not have a lot of experiences growing up. You know, coming from a predominantly white institution, there was not a lot of opportunities for Black women to, you know, at least white guys didn't like Black girls. So I didn't get a lot of attention in high school. So when I was in college, I was very naive to male attention, and I wasn't on game. Guys were playing me left and right. So, cause I was just so like, oh my gosh, a guy likes me, da, 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 da. He was talking to me and this other girl at the same time, and it really affected my self-esteem, because honestly, I felt like the second choice. I felt like the second pick, because he had met her first before I got on campus. I found out this, and also people were telling me things about his character that I was like, oh, you know, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And that's the first red flag I didn't see.
Please remain calm as you clear the building.
So I was like, oh, you know, it's not that bad, or, you know, give people a chance. And I feel like you should give people a chance. But I was ignoring what people were saying. You going back and forth between me and this girl, and I'm like in the back end of it, but I'm still sticking around. And again, we're doing romantic things, we're going out to eat, we're hanging out a lot. Eventually COVID comes, and it was 2020, and literally wipes everyone out. We have to leave campus. He actually gets enrolled in some part of the army. Him and the girl actually stop talking, and then he decides that he wants to go with me. And I'm like, in my little head, I'm like, oh yeah, I win. Wrong. So he goes into the army, and we end up writing each other for 4 months that we're out of school. So he writes me letters, I write him letters, and it's just like a 4-month saga of writing letters. Or after that fall semester's over, it goes into summer, and he comes back from the army. Then, you know, we decide to make it official. We dated for 3 months and I finally felt like, okay, he's committing to me. Like I don't have to like, I'm not in this like shaky area. My birthday comes around. The day after my birthday, we break up. And that's a whole story in itself. The day after my birthday, I'm literally destroyed. I'm like, dang, it's my first boyfriend, da 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 da. And I find out that he ends up seeing somebody else literally right after. And pay attention to that fact because this is gonna be important. So I heal, I pick myself up together. It's a really hard time for me because this is my first breakup ever. So if anyone knows the extent of their first heartbreak, it hurts. It hurts so much, that heartbreak.
Cut the show. I'm done. Take me off. Take me off.
But months pass and stuff between so-and-so don't end up working out. So what did you do? We end up talking again. We never re-enter a relationship, but we kind of pick up from where we left off. People thought we were together, but we weren't. No, I think when you separate from somebody and you try connecting with your ex again, you start like missing the good times, and I feel like you kind of forget all the bad parts of it. So we were like going on trips together. We were traveling. I was always going to his house. He was always coming to mine. We spent time with each other's families. And that summer, I actually visited his family, his extended family, which is actually out of the country. And I spent a week there with his family, met all of his extended family. His mom was calling me his girlfriend. I took a picture with this family. I just felt like, oh my gosh, like maybe this is like could work out because maybe he's a changed man. Maybe he grew from the situation. Maybe he's actually like wants to commit. Going with the flow. I'm very hopeful this time because I'm like, maybe we'll get back together. And the summer of my junior year that we were doing everything together, going on trips, blah, blah, blah. And then my senior year hits. Whew, baby. Fox calls me. He's like, hey, I don't think we should talk anymore. I don't think we're compatible, blah, 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 stuff like that. And he stops talking to me and he cuts it off. And girl, after seeing his family, spending that much time together, traveling out of the state, spending so much time together, he met my family, I met his family. He's coming off completely cold turkey. So I was very confused what was going on. So that was devastating. I couldn't be mad because we weren't even in a relationship. A couple weeks after we stopped talking, I see that he's again talking to someone else, and I figure out that he's eventually in another relationship officially, and it breaks me. Being on campus, I had to see them a lot. Like I would run into him and his girlfriend. I would see his girlfriend at the gym. I would see him, and we're not speaking terms at all. One time I actually quite literally walked right past him. We made eye contact, didn't say anything, knowing that the summer before I met his family, I stayed with him, we were good. I had so much anxiety in my stomach. I was literally crying every day. I couldn't get out of bed because I was like, why would someone do something like that if they're not even interested in you? But they show you to your family, they make you feel special, they tell you things. Can you imagine rolling up to someone that you spent so much time with, created so many memories with, and then you just walk past them like you didn't even know them? And just seeing that was so exhausting. I literally was calling my friend like, can't do this anymore. And I was supposed to be enjoying my senior year. Like this is supposed to be the time where like you're soaking up those last moments, and I was using my last moments crying. Several months passed of this happening where I was just in a rut, and we didn't talk for 6 months. Cold turkey. I didn't see any of his stuff on social media. People would tell me stuff and update me stuff about what was going on, but I was like, I don't want to hear it. I've gone through enough. I've been crying every day. Leave me alone. Give me a break. So 6 months go past, and you know, I finally reached the end of my healing journey. Like I was doing really good, and then out of nowhere, again, I get a text message at my phone while I'm at the gym, and it's from on Snapchat, and it's from an account I don't even know. So I'm like, who is this? And I open the text, and it's Fox. Sent me a whole paragraph about, hey, like I really regret what I did, I miss you. And by the time he was still in a relationship while he was sending me this. So I was like, oh. So me being who I am and still naive, I responded to his message, and I had no hate in my heart. I was like, yo, you're fine, like I've got over this, you're cool, like we don't need to do any of this like back and forth stuff. Because honestly, holding a lot of hate in your heart is exhausting, and that's why it's just easier to just kind of release those emotions and just forgive other people rather than holding on to hate in your heart or like any kind of resentment, because that'll eat you up. Fast forward again. He ends up breaking things off with this girl, and you know, again, me being not over it yet and not done, I reconnected with him. And this time it was strictly as just friends, but then it quickly escalated to something different. And I was back in that confused stage of like, oh, I don't really know what's going on, but like I don't mind it. And I was trying to fool myself like, I'm okay, like I can do this, like I could do a situationship. Like I could be a non-committal girl. No, I couldn't. It was killing me inside because I would just feel so confused after we hung out, and it'd be so many conflicting emotions. Like I'd be like, oh my gosh, like what am I doing? Like I want a relationship, but I'm not getting it. I got pulled back into that gray zone of like, what am I doing? I just knew deep inside that I do not need to be with this man. And then that's the thing about situationships. They're addictive. You can be pulled in by the good times, and a lot of times it's like a high. The highs are so high, but then the lows be so low. Like when you are away from that person and they are out of your space or not in your face, you start thinking and your mind actually starts working because you're not distracted. And we already tried it 3 times and it had been 3 years. Guys, I was in the shackles of this situationship for 3 years. This was now the summer of my senior year, post-graduation. We were still trying to make things work, and like I was very hesitant though in like moving forward, but like there was still so much pull in it and so much stuff that was going on. So slowly but surely I tried forming tighter boundaries with myself. Like I wouldn't hang out with him as often. I wouldn't try to text him as often. It was still very hard. I was like a pull away. But you know, when you're in it with someone that deep, you need to learn how to kind of pull yourself out of it, get yourself out of them shackles. I had an inkling that he was talking to somebody else. So I kept setting more boundaries with myself, saying I'm not doing this anymore, I'm not doing this anymore. He slowly started to like pull away the more of those boundaries I started to make for myself. And one day when I was at the gym, I got a call on my phone, and he had called me and was like, hey, I don't think we should talk anymore. And this is like the 3rd time. Like he's like, I think that we should end it for good, and I think we should completely like just stop talking. I was taken aback a lot. It was a big shock for me, for someone to be calling like this and putting that all on me. I didn't want to see him after that. The fact that I knew I was so far gone is that I was like begging him to not do this to me. Like I was like, what did I do? Why did I deserve this? But deep down inside, I knew I needed to get out too. So after that conversation, I was done. That was the last time I ever spoke to him. So there from today have been the most transformative months that I've ever been through.
1 week later.
I found out that he was in a relationship not even a week after we stopped talking. That year from now on, I didn't contact him at all. And in fact, when you're healing and when you're getting better and when you're growing out of things, I feel like people sense that. And you know the phrase that they always come back? They do. I didn't believe it at first, but they do always come back. So I want to give you guys some advice, some things you really should avoid to not get in this situation and not be in this stuff. How do you prevent these things? How do you prevent a situationship? And I feel like when most people are entering that gray zone, it's kind of confusing because you're like dating, but you're not official yet. So if you do like dating things, like obviously if you're attracted to the person, you're gonna want to be intimate with them. You want to be close to them. How do you prevent that from becoming a situationship? The first thing you want to do is have clear boundaries. So let's say like at the end of 2 months, if they're not committed, girl, throw it away. You can get stretched out 6 years, 6 years, 6 months, 1 year. It can be stretched out for a long time. So make sure your boundaries are just very like defined. And that's like something I had to learn. 2, be friends first. Make sure you actually like this person. Vet them. Ask them questions. Do they want to be in a committed relationship? What are their values? Do you like their family? If you already jump into that and then you figure out like, oh, they never wanted a relationship to begin with, girl, you already got yourself in a situationship. Do not be afraid to ask questions. It helps your mind be more clear. Number 3, have clear and open communication. If you're stating like what you want and what you expect and what you're not afraid to say, like don't be afraid to say what you feel. And if they don't respond well to what you're feeling, or they dismiss it, they're not the person for you. Healthy relationships should have clear communication. I should be able to tell you how I'm feeling. You should be able to tell me how you're feeling. Number 4, remain independent. Try not to have so much codependencies. You gotta have your own life going on. I feel like when you get sucked into situationships, you're kind of isolated with that person in you, and that person becomes your everything. Don't let them be the cake. Let them be the frosting on top. Let them be the sprinkles. And then number 5, believe people's actions and not their words. This is so critical because people, when they're trying to get to you, when they're trying to cuff you, they'll say anything and everything under the sun, especially men, to convince you that you're special. And some of them are genuine, but you can really tell when people actions and their words don't match up. If they're saying like, oh man, like I love you, you so beautiful, girl, like I want to cuff you, I want to be with you, but then they're like talking to Ashley down the street and they're dogging you in front of their friends and stuff, and they're ignoring you, blah blah blah, right? How does that match their words at all? So this is one of the most important parts of the video. I want to tell you guys how I healed from this situation and things that really extremely helped me so much. You're only gonna be ready to leave when you're ready. I've had so many people give me advice and tell me things like, oh, you should really leave and stuff like that, and like, you know, telling me all the things that I already thought in my mind that were happening, that the bad things, but I still didn't leave. I didn't leave. I stayed in it for 3 years. When you leave, you have to be ready. You have to be ready to be able to say, hey, I'm cool. I'm ready to leave. I've been disrespected enough. I want to walk away from this situation. And you have to be ready to put all that in the past and never look back. I remember watching this TikTok about that sprinkle girl. And she gives questionable advice. I don't know about her. But one thing that she said that stuck with me is that if they threw you away, let's say you were trash in the dumpster, and she said if they took the time to put you in the trash, tie it up, put you in the dumpster picks you up, takes you to the landfill where all the poopy diapers are and the dead bodies are, and they drop you off there, and then you decide to get up and come back to the doorstep and be like, hey, I'm back. Don't do that. Second is shut the door and refuse to let it back open. So what I did personally, when I was done, like I deleted all the pictures. I deleted our whole text thread. I blocked him on every single social media thing I can think of. Once you do that, you gotta stay strong. You can't look back, you can't stalk. And I know it's such a hard feeling to get rid of, but this takes practice. And like any muscle you gotta train this muscle, girl or guy. The more you do this and the more you practice this muscle, the more you actually start to think about them less. 5 times in the day. Then maybe a couple weeks later, I only think about them maybe 3 times in the day. Then 2, then 1, then every occasionally, then never. The thought doesn't really cross your mind. Oh my gosh, this third one is so important. Invest in yourself. Pour back into yourself what you have lost. And also cry. Sadness is such a easier emotion than expressing anger, because anger, it just hurts your whole body. At least tears, you can cry that stuff out, and then like you know your eyes will be a little sore crying so hard. Don't isolate yourself. Get out, get your favorite food, even if you're doing small things like getting a bite to eat, riding a bike, getting your favorite food, getting your nails done, changing up your hairstyle, buying clothes. I journaled. So this is my journal when I was going through it. Pages. Journaling is so releasing. Everything that you can't say to this person, you write down in here. This is one that's so important. Writing it all out and giving it to God. And I felt such a peace in that. And and leaning on him has helped me so much with stuff. And just like praying to him, writing everything down, and he wants to help you. And he's always there. The Bible says he should never leave or forsake you. So keep comfort in that. And then lastly, celebrate the little wins. No matter if it's a week, a day, an hour, celebrate the wins. You're gonna be so proud of yourself. Maybe you did talk to him in a week. Great, keep going. All right, 2 weeks, keep going. 3 weeks, keep going. A month, I'm so proud of you. Keep going. And you'll be looking back and being like, wow, God really delivered me from this. I really got out of this. I never thought I would be able to leave. I was trapped. I was suffering, but God got me through this. So don't get into no kind of rebound. Girl, I know it's easy. You've been missing him, and you know, you miss the cuddles, you miss the kisses. So, because when you're not healed, you will attract unhealed people. You'll attract people with a similar type of things that your situationship was giving you. And you don't want to attract those type of people. You want to attract people who are secure, who are kind, who respect you, stuff like that. If they text you, don't react. Don't react. Don't like be like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna text them back. I'm so happy. Think first. When guys come back, they want to see if you're still stupid and see if you're gonna still fall for it. And if you do, they're like, oh yes, I got her back, right in the rope that I need her. Think first. Think about all the things that you've gone through. Think about all the progress that you made. Are you about to throw that away? I know it's tempting. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna regret it. You're gonna be like me back in the day, but don't do it. Stay in the present. Stop thinking about the fantasies and the memories that you made of this person in your head. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the future, what you want to do. So if anyone you know or anyone that's struggling with a situationship, send them this video. I hope this video gives you encouragement to not stand for any disrespect. You have a creator that loves you, who is the embodiment of love. And just know that there's light on the other side of this. In Jesus' name. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I can give you guys more tips. And I hope you guys enjoyed the sit down. Know that it's worth getting through.